She documented everything. Every sunrise through a van window, every mountain overlook, every small town diner and desert highway. Her name was Gabby Petito. She was 22 years old. And in the summer of 2021, she was living what looked like a dream. A cross-country road trip, a fiancé by her side, a camera always running. If you scrolled through her Instagram from that summer, you would see someone who was genuinely happy. That part was real. Hold on to that. Because this story is going to ask you to hold two things at once. What was visible and what wasn't. I'm Justin Luther, and these are the Karma Case Files. Gabby Petito grew up in Blue Point, New York. She had a wide smile and seemed happy. She had 6 younger siblings and half-siblings she was devoted to. She met Brian Laundrie in high school. They began dating in 2019. And within 2 years, they were engaged. In December 2020, Gabby bought a van. The plan was for a 4-month road trip across America. She worked 50 hours a week at Taco Bell to save for it. She planned the entire route. She was excited about it. They left Blue Point on July 2nd, 2021. And for a few weeks, everything posted to Gabby's Instagram looked exactly the way she had imagined it would. But something was running beneath the surface of those posts that the camera never quite caught. And on August 12, 2021, it surfaced in public. Outside of a grocery co-op in Moab, Utah, Moab police received a 911 call. A witness reported seeing a man hit a woman. Officers arrived and found Brian and Gabby. Gabby was crying, trying to explain what happened between them. She took responsibility for the altercation. She described hitting Brian first. She tried downplaying the situation. She tried protecting Brian. Officers noted scratches on Brian's face and arms. One officer pulled him aside afterward and told him directly that what he observed looked like Brian behaving like a mental and emotional bully. But no arrests were made. The couple was separated for the night and told to cool down. And the next morning, they got back in the van together. By late August, the post had stopped. No photos, no updates. Gabby's last Instagram post went up on August 25th. Her last known communication with her family was around a couple days later. On August 27, 2021, in a remote area of Wyoming's Bridger-Teton National Forest, Gabby Petito was killed. The cause of death, blunt force injuries to her head and neck, and manual strangulation. On September 1st, Brian Laundrie drove the van home to his parents' house in Florida, alone. He said nothing about Gabby. He didn't contact her family. He didn't contact the police. And when Gabby's family reported her missing on September 11th, 10 days after Brian had returned without her, the Laundrie family told investigators they hadn't seen Brian since September 13th. What followed was one of the most widely covered missing persons cases in recent American history. The same platforms that had broadcast her joy became the engine of the search for her. Days before her death, Gabby told her ex-boyfriend she was planning to leave Brian, that she was afraid of how he might react. She had seen enough to know there was danger. She was trying to find a way out. The body cam footage from Moab, the witness who called 911, the officer who saw the dynamic clearly, the text messages, the journal entries, all of it was pointing in one direction. On September 19, 2021, Gabby Petito's remains were found in the Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming. Brian Laundrie had been named a person of interest. A warrant had been issued, not yet for murder, but for unauthorized use of her debit card after her death. But he was already gone. For weeks, helicopters were circling around Florida swamps. The search for Brian Laundrie became a spectacle, while Gabby's family sat with the realization that she wasn't coming home. On October 20th, 2021, skeletal remains were found in that same park, near a backpack and a notebook. They were Brian Laundrie's. A medical examiner confirmed he had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And in that notebook found beside his body, he admitted to killing Gabby. He described it as a mercy killing. Think about that. He killed her, drove her van home, he went camping, then committed suicide in the park. And in that notebook left behind, he still found a way to frame it on his own terms. A mercy killing. He controlled the narrative of that trip from the beginning. He controlled it when he drove home without her. And he controlled it one final time from the pages of a notebook no one would read until after he was gone. There was no trial, no courtroom, no cross-examination, no moment where Gabby's family sat 10 feet away from the man who killed her and watched him held accountable for it. Brian Laundrie made sure that would never happen. But what remains was the long, grinding work of seeking justice through the only channel still open. A Florida judge awarded Gabby's family $3 million in a wrongful death lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's estate. A lawsuit filed by Gabby's family alleged that Brian had called his father on August 29th, frantic, telling him Gabby was gone and that he needed a lawyer. According to accounts that emerged during the litigation, his father maintained he had no idea what those words meant. His mother, in her own words, acknowledged that the thought had probably crossed her mind. Two parents asked to explain what they knew and when. The lawsuit was settled confidentially in February 2024. What each of them knew and when they knew it never had to be answered in open court. And then in 2025, a Netflix documentary gave her family something the legal system couldn't. A room, an audience, their own words, unfiltered. Her ex-boyfriend spoke publicly for the first time. He said she had reached out to him just days before she died, that she was planning to leave Brian, that she was scared of how he would take it, but that she had already made the decision. She just needed a little more time to leave him. But she never got it. This is Karma Case File number 13. Brian Laundrie controlled everything. The trip, the story, his own exit. And in the end, he got away with it. No arrest, no trial, no courtroom. But here's what he couldn't control. The way the world remembers him. He will always be the man who killed Gabby Petito. And she will always be the woman he couldn't diminish. I'm Justin Luther, and these are the Karma Case Files. If you or someone you love is experiencing domestic violence, you don't have to face it alone. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-800-799-SAFE. Text START to 88788 or visit thehotline.org.